the team was not very good at beam. And we actually happened to come in at the same time as Carly took over beam as the coach there. So we were lucky enough to always have her and her assignments, her coaching style, the entire time that we've been here, the 5 years. So I'm very grateful for that. But we do talk about how we have an expectation, like Utah beam is Utah beam. To fight into that lineup and get into that lineup, you do have to prove yourself, and you have to have the precision, the artistry, the skills, and everything that goes into it. And it is hard to break into lineup. So I think people do really push hard, and it will maintain being a beam team as long as there's that expectation. I'm actually a lot less uptight than I used to be. I have always been somebody who is like super strict, like this is what I'm going to do, this is how it's going to happen. I don't budge on that. And I have become a lot less superstitious, so I actually wear a different hair ribbon now than I used to. I don't follow like the regimen as much, and I try to have more fun at meets than I used to do. So that is something that I have learned. I was in this mindset that the only way it could be successful if I was super serious and super focused and, you know, quiet and intense. But I've realized that that's not always necessary. I can actually enjoy myself when I compete. It's time for the...
Can you have fun on the beam? You know, that's the thing for Utah is you can go over there and be as serious as you want, or you can go over there and make it a party. And they have a good time with beam. They all feed off each other.
They really do, and beam has always been a make or break event in the sport, but I think they're really shifting that narrative that a whole lineup can be great at beam and you don't have to make it such a nervous thing.
So I have to tell a story about Abby Paulson on beam. You might want to cover your ears as a former Bruin. I remember back in 20 at UCLA, Utah closing on beam, and Abby Paulson got a perfect score to beat the Bruins.
I remember this.
Yeah.
What year was this?
20.
2020,
it's
okay.
the first 10 on beam for Utah since 2008, and then Miley O'Keefe started just reeling them off after that. Yeah. So
I just love those rivalry meets because it's always head-to-head with UCLA and Utah with the perfect scores.
It's always great. It's always a great meet. And now Cal, sitting up at the top 3 in the country, has thickened the whole stew now. It's going to be, Pac-12s are going to be great a month from tonight.
I'm so excited.
Across town at West Valley City. You can get tickets. Just go onto the Pac-12 website and look it up. There's Carly Dockendorf, the head coach now, but you heard Abby Paulson giving her credit for what she did with the Red Rocks beam lineup the last few years. Back-to-back seasons, they were #1 in the nation, and Miley O'Keefe won the NCAA championships with back-to-back 10s in the NCAA semis and finals.
And I just need people to understand how difficult that is.
It's ludicrous. The biggest 2 meets, she didn't do it once, and people would say, it's kind of a fluke that created her son. She did it back-to-back nights at the NCAAs.
Right, it reminds me of Peng Peng Lee, who got the back-to-back 10s, but in the same meet.
Yeah.
Which is, again, like you said, ludicrous is the word you use.
And Peng Peng won an NCAA championship, beating Oklahoma, and she had to get a 10. That was all that would do it.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Greatest moments in collegiate gymnastics history. Just Google it. Peng Peng Lee at the NCAAs. So I did the math, and right now Utah is on pace for a 197.7, which is really just about a little over their average. Wouldn't be a season high. But these are their 2 best events, beam and floor. McKenna Smith 3 times has gone 9.85 or better. A couple of 9.875s. Recover there.
Yep, she had a slight balance check, but sometimes when you swing your arms and keep the motion going, it can be up to the judges to decide what to do. Here's our series, quick lay. Again, another balance check. It's a beautiful leap right there. And it's in these moments where your routine isn't going as perfect as you want it. You really have to leave those skills. I love the moonwalk. It reminds me of Bailey Rowe, which is a former Utah gymnast who had a moonwalk in her routine as well. Cartwheel Gainer off the side.
So beam, as much as any event, you want to start high and go higher.
Yes, exactly.
If Stanford were to take its first 2 rotations and double it, so projecting what it gets for the night, 196.45. But they had a sub 49 already, and these are their 2 best events, beam and floor. Temple Landry first up for the Cardinal.
I loved the coffee grinder in the beginning of that.
She's a floor specialist, her only event.
Very solid first pass, 1.5 to front lay. And speaking to Tabitha, she said Temple is one of the hardest workers she's ever coached in her career, which is very telling. Final pass is going to be a double tuck. And she buckled on that takeoff, so she wasn't able to get the height or rotation she needed.
And again, Stanford finds itself in a position where it's going to want to go 5 for 5.
Yep.
And this is an event in which they're ranked 29th in the country,
Yeah,
5th
look
in
at that
the
takeoff.
conference. Just didn't have enough
Her
from the
knee,
start.
yeah, her knees were buckled on that takeoff.
And thank goodness for the sting mat.
Oh yes, that 4-incher is a lifesaver.
A lot of pressure on your Achilles there at the end. She's okay. 9825 for McKenna Smith. Elizabeth Gantner's second up for the Red Rocks. Gantner, freshman from Indianapolis. Only on beam this year so far. This is her 4th. She had a 9.875 at Washington and a 9.8 last week in the win at UCLA.
Speaking with Carly, she says Elizabeth is a very calm beam worker. Has been very consistent in practice. I love her series and how she goes immediately into that straddle jump. And you can even just see, watching her up there, she's one of those natural beam workers. Beautiful artistry.
Former national champion on this event, club level. Back in 2021, blows a kiss to the home folks.
And that's blowing that kiss. That was them, you know, trying to work in some choreography to really cater to the judges and the fans, which was kind of hard for her. It was a little uncomfortable because sometimes you don't want to look at the fans or the judges. So Carly just said, just trust it. It's fine. This will help improve your score for
They
sure.
all throw a little something in on beam. I like when athletes do that dismount.
It's a slight hop forward, but very good routine.
The beam is probably the only place she's alone, not only with her teammates and all these 34,000 students at the University of Utah, but one of 5 kids, so she was never alone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I can't imagine. I was an only child growing up, so.
Well, once your parents got it right, what's the point?
Yeah, my mom said never again.
Victoria Cluck is scheduled to go next. She's waiting on a score. This will be just her 3rd floor routine of the year. She was in the lineup at home against Arizona State and last week on the road at Oregon State, and both scores identical, 9.8. Freshman from Frisco, Texas, outside of Dallas. Frisco's home in the Division I AA football championship. Won this year by South Dakota State.
And you mentioned her scores on floor, and talking with Tabitha, she said she's been getting better on floor. Hallie, who is the choreographer on the staff, she's worked really hard with her, working diligently to get her back, and she's very open to being a team player.
So they want to put a red line through Landry and go Clark, Knoll, Robinson, Widner, and Wynn. They've done it before. They did it on bars and came back with a 49-3, one of their best scores of the season. Now have to repeat the feat on floor.
I really enjoy this routine. Huge double A. Came up a little short on it. She did her best to hold on to that landing. One and a half front pike, no problem.
Lots of height, lots of room at the end of the tumbling pass.
Yep.
Yeah, she is happy with that, and should be.
Anyone who's ever sold a
beam. We're not used to seeing that. Here's Grace McCallum.
There's a similar amount like McKenna.
Olympic silver medalist. Her last 3 beams have been 9875 or better.
I just absolutely love her.
Here we go with the wolf turns. I think a triple followed by a double, right?
So she just turns like glass. It's amazing just to watch her do this.
And then she'll count them off. Watch this. Shows the U. Oh, she didn't do it tonight. Normally she counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then pounds her hands together and forms a 5. Took it out
the U tonight.
Yep.
Nice. Speaking of Carly, she talks about Grace and how she's one of the sweetest people you will ever meet in the world. She's very humble, very caring, very giving. Almost to the point where she forgets to give to herself, but she's always giving to others.
Gainer dismount. And here come her teammates.
That should be a solid score, what the team wants to see.
Yeah, you can show a highlight at any part, but here's those wall turns. You said she spins like glass. How do you do that and not fall off?
And just to repeat it twice, oh, so very good. I could watch that all day.
And it's one of those things, the triple gets everybody's attention, then she throws the double in right after it.
Right, like I'm not done.
Yeah. 9825 for Cluck. That's a great score coming off the fall. Recenters the Cardinal lineup. And Brennan Alt is next as the one judge has given a 10 to McCallum on beam. One judge.
And we'll get that 9975.
She ends up with a 9, was it a 9975?
Yep.
The other judge gave her the 995, you're right.
And tap on floor for Stanford, Brennan Alt.
You and I talked about it during the break. I like that they're being stingy with the 10s this year. It was kind of getting ridiculous a few years ago. They were giving them a bit too easy. They've tightened some of the scoring rules, the landings, no more college stick. And not just handing out 10s, they should be special.
Right, the landings are stumping quite a few of the gymnasts too, which is interesting to see. Short on that double pike. Has to take that step forward, which will be an increased deduction. One thing I will say though is Brenna's performance quality. She is so very expressive, especially right here.
Nault. Brennan Nault.
Beautiful front handspring to Rudy. She's got everybody in the crowd clapping for her right now. Good landing right there. Is this Top Gun?
No, that's James Bond.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Super familiar. And so now it's one of my favorite floors of the year. I thought it was going to fade out and move on, but yeah. Albert Broccoli franchise. Nobody is tired of Bond. Just keep it going.
Oh, never.
You made like 70 of them. 9975 from McCallum. And here is Abby Paulson, who we heard from just off of the break. Paulson is terrific on beam. She is number 2 in the country and a 2-time champion in this conference on this event.
Like I mentioned, she's been the unsung hero on beam. Starting off with beat jump. Into a side aerial, into a back leg. Very difficult combination for her series.
Turn.
Yep, you never want to underestimate those. Bring up the 22 for the late Ty Jordan. That's actually a new dismount for her, so she can know for sure to hit all those skills and give her the confidence she needs.
She had a 10 4 years ago. Her best this year, 9975. Where one judge gave her a 10. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
I mean, if it comes up quick, then you know.
Yeah, that's right.
That's how you know.
If it takes longer, it means they're sharpening their
But
pencil.
look at this series. She just gets so much height on her back layout, step out.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. And I love that she does a beat jump into it.
She stuck her dismount.
They don't give it to her.
Not going to get it. Oh, they are teasing this capacity.
It's the same
crowd.
judge. It's
That's
the same
okay.
judge that's giving the 10, and then the one judge.
Are there judges who just don't want to give a 10?
I mean, yeah, it seems like it. It's consistent, at least, for what we're seeing.
9725 for Null. Again, they need Robinson, Widner, and Wynn all to come through to salvage the rotation. Stanford trying to pop a 197 before Pac-12s and jump in the rankings into the top 20.
This routine is so much fun to watch. I saw it in warm-up, and I was dancing the entire time.
Sienna Robinson.
Definitely knows how to groove. Beautiful double pike to start off.
Freshman from Vegas has never been on a scoring routine on floor in college. This is her debut. Good place for it.
Oh, absolutely. Double tuck.
It buckled a little bit, but held on to it.
Yep. I love those turns. You never really see turns in college gymnastics ever, so for her to add a traditional gymnastics turn with a dance turn in there is great. Wait for it. Death drop.
Right, we've seen that before. That was Mark Zettas, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mark Zetta Frazier at UCLA made that famous, yeah.
Hallie told me before the meet started, she said, look out for Sienna's routine, but she wasn't in the lineup yet, so she told me to watch out for it in the warm-up, so I'm so happy everyone got to experience that.
I'm glad you saw it because you gave us a little foreshadowing to focus in. Back-to-back 9.975s, McCallum and Paulson, and then you go to O'Keefe, the greatest beamer in the history of college gymnastics.
What more can you want? I love how she mounts and goes right into her leap connection. One thing I loved hearing about Miley is that, you know, she is incredibly talented, but she doesn't take her talent for granted. She works very hard. There's a lot of athletes that have the talent, but, you know, kind of don't train very hard during practice because they know that they can, you know, bust out a routine, no problem, maybe get a 10, but she works very hard day in and day out in the gym, which is really cool to hear.
Listen, I'm not going to say the T word because
I know
they just want to give it. Let's just say we.
But they're doing a really good job just doing their best, not giving their judges anything to question. And so we'll see. I don't know. I also don't want to say the T. Yeah, I don't want to say the T word either, but.
And the problem for Miley, and she couldn't win the Heisman probably, is that people are expecting perfection now.
Yes.
You can't help but do it. We do it as well because she spoiled us. She's put up 13 in her career, 3 this year.
I see one from the judge. Let's see. They still.
They wouldn't do it.
It's the same
they wouldn't do it. Same judge went 9.95, and Dockenor's laughing at the crowd's reaction. Miley saying, "What more can I do?" But. Listen, I'm not a judge, so some judges maybe say perfection is unattainable in gymnastics.
Yeah. I mean, back to back 9.975s is also great, but oof.
I thought Sienna Robinson deserved much better than 9.725, but here I am, you know,
yeah, there was
Monday
a buckle on that one landing on the double tuck, but yeah.
Chloe Widner. Her 5th season at Stanford, another Frisco product.
A lot of power, a little bit more of that over rotation on that front pass, and she's been dealing with some nagging injuries, but she is capable of doing a double layout as her first pass, so they're easing her back into it. Gorgeous leap. I really want to highlight the importance of finishing the leaps completely around because the judges are also looking for that so they get the start value that they need. Double pipe. Right on. That looks great.
3 straight 9.975s. So they're already at a 49.525 with Winger to add to it.
Right. So they can easily drop that 9.775. into front toss to a split jump. Beautiful job. She's definitely an athlete to look forward into the all-around.
For the freshman winger, this is the first time she's been on beam in college.
Yeah.
Getting that amazing experience of beaming at the Huntsman Center in front of a packed house.
Beautiful series, and it's very rare when you see a major series towards the end of the routine, and she did that perfectly. Full turn, right into that dismount.
You might ask, why is winger in the lineup? Well, that's because Emily Morgan, who would normally be in the lineup for Utah, has left the team for a month to go back and join the Great Britain Olympic team in their quest to qualify for Paris.
Right, and a perfect opportunity for a freshman to step up.
Yeah, they already had a big score. So you got to get freshman experience. The only way to get it is by doing it. Terralyn Wynn, anchor spot for Stanford. Remember, winger had trouble at the top. And then Cluck, no, Robinson, Widner have all come through.
I think this routine is very fitting for her because she is tiny but mighty. She has so much power. I'm gonna open up with a double layout. Had to slide that front foot, so the judges will take a little bit more off for that, but great start. Gonna do a 2.5 into a punch front. No problem. Mic drop.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more of those. That's great.
Oh, that's cute.
Wow.
I love that.
Beautiful. Good for Stanford.
Team for Utah, Sarah Wright.
Over on beam, Cami Winger got a 9.925 for Utah. That's a rotation of 49.525. That is their second best total of the season on balance beam. Floor when we come back.